What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the On the Water podcast. I'm Anthony DeCicci. I got my good buddy Cam Crocker, Captain Cam Crocker. Is that correct? Are you
good to be here.
Captain status? You've been captain for a long time.
Yeah, got my ticket when I was young, so yeah, still
Man of the open ocean.
Still going at it.
Dude, we've had some times together out fishing. It started a long time ago. You had to have been like 22, 20, maybe not even 21 yet when we first got connected on actually Captain Mike Peardenaugh's boat way back in the day, just, you know, pounding on some ground fish and stellwagging.
Yeah, I think I was 17. I started on Mike's boat when I was 16 because I didn't have my license yet, so yeah. My mom drove me up to the boat every day in Marshfield from Osterville. So
that's is that where you're from?
I am. Yep.
Born and raised on the Cape, and grew up on the Cape, but was lucky enough to get a job up in Green Harbor, and that's where we very cool. That's where we first crossed paths. We actually hammered the cod pretty good that day. That was fun.
Yeah, good codfish and pollock, everything.
Yeah, we were out jigging. It's like doing stuff that it seems like, you know, doesn't even happen anymore, which kind of sucks. In some places, obviously it does, but, you know, I don't know.
Fisheries definitely changed, that's for sure.
So you've been fishy your whole life. I mean, at least since you were 17, that's as far back as I go. What got you, like, how did you start out fishing? What made you get into fishing as a kid? Like, when did it start? What was it like?
I always thought I was the mailman's kid because my brother's in the golf industry, my sister's in sales, and was into, you know, American Girl dolls and whatnot, and all I wanted to do was fish.
Yeah.
My mom used to bring me to the old A&P in Osterville and pick up squid, and I'd call when I was younger to make sure they had squid, and fished off Douse's Beach my whole life, growing up, catching scup, sea bass, whatever I could from the pier there, and before they had the pier. And just love fishing. Couldn't get enough of it. After dinner, going fishing. And
self-taught, started from scratch, really?
Well, I was from shore, yeah. I mean, I had a Shakespeare, an old piece of crap rod and reel, that whatever I got from Kmart. And then luckily, my neighbor across the street growing up had her father had a 50-foot Bertram. And I would ride my bike down to Oyster Harbor's Marina every day and try and get on any boat I could. You know, fished off the docks every day and did whatever I could to get an opportunity to get on a boat. And it led to an opportunity when I was about 14 or 15 to go to the canyons, actually.
Really?
And I was hooked ever since. There was no going back.
That's going to be like emotional overload, like sensory overload.
It was awesome.
As a 14 or 15-year-old?
Yeah, it was a derelict bunch. Ty Anderson, Ty went on charters from Katuitt. He was the captain. And we...
Give me the play-by-play of how that came to be, and now you're jumping on a boat going, I'm going to the, what is it called? The canyons? And
yes.
14, 15 years old, like, run me through that whole process of kind of how you took that in and what kind of blew your mind and how things unfolded on that.
So I was lucky enough to grow up in a neighborhood that, you know, my parents didn't worry about me riding a bike down a couple miles. I'd go and pretty much live on the docks at Oyster Harbor's Marina and fishing for striped bass, whatever would bite my storm shad or whatever I had. And one day, actually, Robbie Goodwin and Roland Beamish there was a boat called the Jollymon, and they saw me down there all the time, and they're like, "Hey, kid, if you're around here all the time, why don't you come help out?" So I did an oil change with them, and was lucky enough to just be around all the guys in the industry, not knowing who they were.
Yeah.
And now I look up to those guys big time.
Sure.
But they kind of gave me a shot, and Ty needed a mate, so away we went. And I was green as your hat. I mean,
you remember where you went?
I think we went to Veach. Not 100% sure. I think it was Veach. It was during the Hyannis offshore tournament.
Okay.
So the old Anglers Club tournament. Yeah. And funny story, we went down there. The fishing was pretty slow. Caught a couple yellowfins. I know some boats went out to the east and clobbered them. Yeah. One being the Jollymon, Robbie Goodwin. Duh. And we ended up catching at night. There was a mate from, I think he was from Australia or something like that was fishing with us too. And we're sitting up sword fishing. My eyes were wide as, I mean,
Yeah.
all night long. I couldn't sleep. So I'm trying to catch squid, whatnot. And this big mahi swims through the lights and pitched a little bucktail at it, ended up catching it. We put it in the box, never said anything. We get back and they're like, all right, yeah, we don't have anything weighable. We pull this 22-pound mahi out of the box, and well, it won us. I think it was like 40 grand in the Calcutta.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. So
dude, you were like a fan favorite right out of the gate.
They gave me the trophy. That's all I got. But
that's awesome, dude.
It was a cool experience, and ever since then I was hooked.
Yeah. So like when they were like, hey, come mate, did they tell you that you were going on an overnight trip, or was it just kind of?
Yeah, I knew it. Like, I mean, I didn't know. I was just going fishing, and we left early in the morning. We were going out. That boat was pretty slow, well, relative to what I was on, but it was a 22, 18 knot boat. Yeah. And yeah, we went and fished
just
the tournament.
Chugging along. Were you like, where are we going?
I had no expectations. Yeah, I just remember guys like, in the salon hanging out. They're like, kid, go to bed. I'm like,
get some sleep.
Sure. But yeah, no, I mean, like a kid in a candy store, I couldn't sleep.
That sounds awesome. Dude, marinas are the greatest place to grow up.
Yeah. And like if I have any recommendations for any kids nowadays that want to get into the industry, it's just pound the docks. Like you don't see it anymore.
It's true.
That's where I learned almost everything I know is just from pounding the docks.
Yeah.
Guys working on boats, guys doing, maintenance, whatever. Fishing's a little part of the whole industry, but if you want to be on a boat, you need to learn the boat. And it was cool.
That's very cool.
Very thankful for those guys to be able to bring me in.
Dude, that's wild. I can't believe that. The little greenhorn, puts a money fish on the deck, and nobody knows about it probably.
Yeah, we were already north of the lanes. Yeah, we were north of the lanes, and they're all, drinking their cocktails, heading in, licking their wounds, and we pull this fish out of the box, and they're like, whoa, I guess we're going to the scales.
That's awesome. So, from there, it just kind of took off. Did you stay mating? Is that kind of what you did?
Yeah,
for,
so my parents were members of the Austral Anglers Club.
Mm-hmm.
Henry O'Shaughnessy, fished with him a lot on the Gaelic Wake, learned how to fish off Cuddy Hunk and down the Elizabeth Islands with him.
He showed you all that? Was that picked up from him a lot?
I did pick up a lot from him, yeah. Yep. The old Pink Squid tournament.
There. Oh, yeah.
Fishing bunker spoons and
Henry
Tom Shoal, all the old spots. We hammered it, and I was lucky enough to meet a couple people down there, and just had the ambition and wanted to be part of it.
Henry and his boys are always the first ones to be like, "There's a bite along the islands." Yeah, they're always on it.
Yeah, they'll drive right by good fishing just to go down there.
Yeah, they love it down there. I've fished down there with them a couple times. They're awesome.
I remember when I was younger, Henry always used to say, he's from Ireland, and he's like, "It's like my homeland." So. It's there's something to be said for that, and it's great fishing down there for sure. Yeah. But not a lot of people just explore it, and there's lots to be had.
It's changed some. I don't know if it's the water temps or whatever. It's not like the heydays, but there'll be certain times of the year where they're set up along the islands, and you can still go down there and catch them old school.
Absolutely.
So you did that for some time, and you also you did a lot of bass fishing growing up. I know that of you. Like, how did you start getting it? Like, how old were you when you got your first boat? Like, or was it more shore?
So fishing? My parents had my dad was pretty much forced to buy a boat because I was so into fishing. He didn't want to break up on another $1,000 expense, but there was an opportunity in Wellfleet. It was a 19-foot Ocean Scout for sale for the right price. It had an old Johnson on it, and we used to just go out and bail bluefish one after another, and my brother and I would go out with my dad, and we'd catch a couple hundred bluefish in an afternoon, and it was easy. It was anything you threw in the water. We were catching bluefish, and then one day I was like, there's a market for these. Like, why are we throwing back 100 bluefish a day when I can make some money off this? So we had a 22 Grady White at the time, not a fishing boat. Mm-hmm. It was a tournament style walkthrough. Yeah. And I trashed the thing. Absolutely trashed it.
Yeah. That's what kids do.
Yeah. But it was good. It got me into the mind of, if you're going to go do something, subsidize it and make some money doing it.
That's funny. Dude, I actually went the other direction. I cost my dad his well, not his first boat, but I cost him a boat early because I was probably 2.5. Same exact thing. Going out like, hey, we're gonna go catch some bluefish, and it was an old Mackenzie, like the old school wooden bass boat. It was his baby. It was the Mina. It was red. I still have a picture of it somewhere. Badass little boat. And we're out there bailing bluefish, and all of a sudden a monster mako shows up. We're in the dumping grounds, like between the northwest corner of Stellwagen and like Boston Light. And he goes, this is what he tells to a 2.5-year-old Cheech with vicious ADD that's sort of, sicko for fish.
Not much
hey, don't move. I'm going to go rig the harpoon up. We're going to be on the news. So he goes down in the cabin. He starts rigging the dart up. And, he was going to stick the fish because it was just chomping on a bluefish on the surface. And, subdue it, drag it home, and be like, me and my son caught this monster mako. So he comes out of the cabin, and I am over the transom on the swim platform going, shark, shark. He said he grabbed me by the back of, remember the old life jackets that had the ring? Picked me up over it, gave me a big hug, literally just put the boat in gear, drove it home, and didn't even want to tell my mother what happened. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to put the boat up for sale and wait till the kids get a little older. So we went I think probably a year and a half, and my brother was 2 years younger than me. And I remember getting into 20 Seacraft, which quickly became a 23 Seacraft, which I got one of those when I was probably 17 or so, and I still kick myself for selling it. That boat was
awesome
sick.
boat, yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty awesome, dude. So you got into kind of realizing there's some money in fish, and just kind of kept rolling with that. Where did that kind of bridge the gap to getting hooked up with Beardnock and working for him?
Yeah, so I fished all the Austral Anglers Club tournaments. Did the Joe Cronin tournament back in the day, just freelance around. I was kind of a, hopping around kind of guy. Yeah,
Dock rat.
Exactly. Yep. So hopped around bass fishing, blue fishing, and did a couple tuna trips, on the same boat that my neighbor owned. And that kind of shaped me into wanting to fish all the time.
Yeah.
I was bit. It was either fishing or I was about to fail out of school because I just wanted to go fishing. So when I got the opportunity, local hooker rods, Bob Jenkins. Yeah, yep.
Bob. Great guy.
So he used to go to the shark tournament every year, and he sponsored the shark tournament. So I would run his boat from Chatham without him on it when I was 17.
Yeah.
And go catch a bunch of bluefish on the way there at Horseshoe.
Yeah.
And bring them in, sell them to the guys that were there before Bob even got there.
Yeah. And keep enough for the tournament for yourself.
Well, we weren't even fishing the tournament.
Oh, really?
I just wanted to make some money.
He was peddling rods at the
peddling
docks.
rods at the docks.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, I need my boat over there. So I'd just stop and get live well. So
why not?
These guys want bluefish. I'll go get a couple.
Make a few bucks on the way.
Yeah. So one thing led to another, and we did a couple trips with him. And I was like I said, I was bit. So
yeah.
Mike Beardnock came into the situation because Bob Jenkins used to supply all his rods.
Yep.
He was sponsored by him. And he was looking for a mate. I was 16 at the time. So I remember asking my mom and dad, I was like, hey, got a job opportunity in Marshfield.
Yeah.
Like, what? So being as dedicated as I was and had good parents, they were willing to drive me up there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like cutting teeth to do it, but I would make a couple days out of it. So I was about 17 at the time, and there was back-to-back trips on days, and I would just stay on the boat.
Yeah.
It was a 30-foot pursuit, and I had a nice liveaboard, and
perfect.
Which was a blessing too, because other boats in Green Harbor were coming in. At the time, Fred Levitman, Kula, all the big fish guys. There was a lot of.
I haven't run across paths with him in forever.
Yeah,
he's a fishy dude.
A very fishy dude. Yeah. So they kind of were like, "Hey, kid, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And they kind of took me under their wing as well.
Sure.
And so I learned a lot from those guys. and that transpired into us fishing the monster shark tournament together.
Running Mike's boat for him. You were I remember you were in the process of getting your ticket while you were working for Mike,
Yep.
and that's kind of where I first met you. And you were kind of quiet, and we were cod fishing or whatever. But then I think where you really came out of your shell is when Mike had reached out and said, "Hey, we hooked. We had a monster great white come through our spread, and I want to kind of promote this." And me being in advertising sales, we started putting together a campaign for his charter business, and then that one thing led to another, and it was like, I don't know what happened first. Maybe we went and filmed a shoot with Pierre Knock that Skolmel joined us on. Greg Skolmel.
Yeah, I was with you on that.
Yeah, you were with us on that one. I think we were looking for some makos or a thresher. It was one of those days you get covered up in blue sharks. But the first time I fished with you offshore, I'm like, this kid is just like, you just had it. You were dialed in, and I was picking up some stuff from you and vice versa probably, but it was almost like we had fished together for a long time, and I'm like, I could really fish with this kid any day of the week. And I think one thing led to another, and Pierre Knock was like, let's put an A-team together and fish the shark tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And he had you run the boat up from Marshfield. He was busy working.
It was blowing about 30 out of the south.
I remember you calling me.
At the time, we had to get a ride up to Marshfield to get the boat, and because I didn't want to leave my truck up there for a period of time. And so I think I was using my parents' car or whatever. And so he called me, and he's like, hey, I'm doing something. Can you get the boat to the vineyard?
Yeah.
And I called a buddy of mine. He didn't know much about boats at all. And, south wind, hugging the coast, coming down from Marshfield, past Plymouth, Duxbury, coming to the canal, fair tide coming through the canal. Well, fair tide coming through the canal from the east end with a southwest wind.
Yeah.
We know how that goes on the other side. So every other one was just coming over it was green water the whole way. And we got to Falmouth Harbor, and there's salt covering the boat, rods are everywhere, stuff's all mangled. Mike looks at me and he's like, rough ride?
A little bit.
You have no idea, Mike.
A little bit.
But we're here. We're going fishing. So away we went, and I think we had a pretty decent trip.
We did. I remember trying to work as much as I could that week, probably on deadline or something like that, but volunteering to be like, I'll take care of the chum. So I called some buddies, and they were like, hey, my chipper broke. So I had the smart idea to go to Taylor Rental and rent one. And I had to get it done, but I also had to get my work done and leave work to go to the ferry over here in Falmouth Harbor, which was going to be my ride over to the vineyard to meet up with you guys. And this was my first shark tournament, and I was jacked up. I've heard about all the stories about how much of a blast it is, but I'd never experienced it. So I remember being loading my truck up with totes of pogies and bluefish, and I had all these I forget what it was called, but it was a trick my dad showed me where he used to take it might have been anthracite or something. They look like scales in the water, and you mix it in with the chum. Some people use glitter. Yep. We always use that because it kind of fell and shimmered like scales. And I'm like, let's do a video on making chum. To this day, it's by far the worst video on the water had ever put out. It might be our first YouTube video ever because it was that long ago. And I'm in Grundon's bibs, and it's 90 degrees out, and I am just obese and balding and just making weather in those bibs.
I don't shark fish anymore.
And the thing had no guard on it. So to get the bluefish to catch, to get picked up by the chipper, I had to kind of pop it in real quick and try not to lose, fingers or a hand.
Chuck and duck chipper, yeah. Yep.
It was absolute ridiculousness, and it still comes up every now and again. Somebody will be like, "Geez, remember this video?" And I'm like, "Delete that. That thing's the worst." But I remember, heading over to the vineyard and just being into it big time on being amped up to fish my first ever like competitive offshore tournament, and you were like cool as a cucumber, like, yeah, we'll find some sharks. And I remember the weather turned; it got increasingly worse.
I remember we had to run around the west side of the vineyard.
That was brutal.
We're coming across Menemsha, right? We were hugging tight, trying to get in the lee as much as we could, and we ran over a lobster pot.
Yep.
And the events that happen on the vineyard, you're caught up in it, and let's just say it's a sobering event getting in the water at 3:30 in the morning.
That'll wake you up.
You're on a shark tournament.
I was like, oh no.
And jumped in the water and made sure the wheel was clear, and away we went.
Kept it moving.
But yeah, that's a funny story. I remember that specifically.
And now a note from one of our sponsors who are literally the reason we're able to do this podcast.
This episode of the On the Water podcast is sponsored by our friends at Old Town Canoe and Kayak. I love kayak fishing, and to be honest, there's no place in the world that I would rather be than fishing on my Old Town big water pedal kayak. I do all kinds of fishing on my Old Town. In early spring, I'm out on the small ponds fishing for largemouth bass and pickerel. By May, I'm out every morning at first light, gliding along in the harbors and salt ponds, throwing topwater lures at freshly arrived stripers. And then one thing I can't wait for is when the bluefish show up in spring on the sand flats here on Cape Cod. These fish tend to be pretty good sized, 8 to 10 pounders, and they come into just 3 to 4 feet of water, swimming right below the surface. In the Old Town Big Water, it's stable enough that I can stand up and spot them, and then I sight cast to them, I throw flies to them. The blues can be incredibly spooky, and I don't even know if there's another way that you could get so close to them and do that kind of fishing without being in a kayak. The Old Town Sportsman lineup includes paddle, pedal, and power-driven kayaks in a range of sizes and setups, including Old Town's newest kayak, the EPDL Plus. Whether you're new to kayak fishing and on your way to becoming completely addicted like I am, or you're already in love with kayak fishing and just looking for your next vessel, Old Town has a kayak that will fit your fishing.
I remember being down in the trough of like legit 6 to 8 footers.
I think that was the year the Topaz got ripped apart.
With the toilet went through the hull of it?
Yeah.
It was that year. That was brutal. And then we were literally looking out over our chum slick, and we'd go in the trough, and then I'd be making like eye contact. Actually, I'd be looking up at like 3 or 4 big blue dogs, just nose up in the chum slick, kind of coming towards the boat, and they're like 5 feet above my head, and I'm like, this is nuts.
Yep.
We didn't get the right bite. Actually, no, we got a good bite that day. We dropped it.
Yeah. We
that felt like a thresher.
So Mike had a tuna head that we were fishing. So he had this.
I'm sorry.
Mike was like, Mike Piernock till this day is a shark master, and he had this tuna head that he had frozen, and we hung it out of the rigger like a teaser. So it was hard pulleyed right up to the teaser, or where the teaser would be on your rigger, and we were dangling the thing, and going in the water at 3:30 in the morning, and one thing led to another. I was not on my best A game. Didn't tie it off real good, and it was rough. I mean, riggers in the water on the drift. So this tuna head's dancing out of the water, up and down on the, we're drifting starboard too, and it's dangling in and out of the water. Next thing you know, boom, tuna head's gone.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes later, we see this 600-pound mako air out, shaking this tuna head.
It's like a rag doll.
Right past our far floater.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting a bite after that, and it was the right one. We just ended up pulling the hook on it.
I remember that. It was hard to fight fish that day, but it was me, it was you, it was my brother Dave, and my buddy Hoodie. And we only had one day to fish because I think we got weathered out one day.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of make it count. And I just remember coming back from that trip, and nothing would stay still, even though it kind of laid down for the ride home. But we got back to OB and just let our hair down, kind of tore it up a little bit. I remember my now wife, was my girlfriend at the time, she showed up, and I had
this not happy with me.
She was not happy. Well, probably most unhappy with Hoodie, who she loves to death, but he has an alter ego we call Adderall Ed, where his face just goes blank, dead, and he turns into a zombie. And there's nobody home, and he's complete blackout. He was in rare form that night. He was
Probably why the
so
shark tournament's
angry.
not going anymore.
That is probably exactly part of the reason why there's no more monster shark tournament on the Vineyard. So sorry to everybody else, but I remember he was like calling my wife by my high school girlfriend's name, saying you're ruining everything. Get out of here. And I'm like, oh my God. I ended up going and sleeping on the tower. It was not a breath of air. It was
It was a nice night.
But it was hot, and the AC broke.
The AC
So it
did
was
break on the
sweaty.
boat. Yeah, I remember we had a power situation going on, and I had a bunch of my buddies on the boat.
Yeah, I remember looking down and being
I'll
like,
address this tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. You showed up with a stranger, which was funny. That was probably why. That was the beginning of the end of the Monster Shark tournament.
Yeah, it was a fun tournament.
But it kind of kicked into gear some other offshore exploits. So, from there, I was sad that when you kind of moved on from working with Mike, but it seemed like, as far as your career went, it kind of blossomed, and you were doing a lot more of the offshore stuff more regularly.
It
Kind of
did,
take us through that, and we'll kind of connect the dots on some of the shared trips we had after
So
that.
I had an opportunity. A friend or John Galvin.
Yep.
Who's
Mulberry
from Mulberry
Canyon?
Canyon. Yep.
Legend.
Did the Joe Cronin tournament with him.
Yeah.
Which was Jimmy Fun fundraiser in Osterville. They don't have it anymore, unfortunately. But fished that with him and was kind of like, hey, I really want to get my feet wet in the offshore stuff. I was sick of catching sharks. I was watching guys come into Green Harbor with 600, 700-pound fish, and we're out there catching blue sharks and cod all day. And I'm like, all right, what's next? So moved on to fishing. I got an opportunity when I was 19 to move to Nantucket and go fish aboard the Provider,
Legendary vessel.
which was a 42-foot Westmac, and that was probably the best move I ever made.
Yeah.
Didn't go to college. Worked at Bartlett Tree.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing tree work in the wintertime and then was fishing all summer, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I fished over there, and we actually did an offshore episode on that boat with you guys.
Yeah, Chris just picked you off in the in the parking lot as you were ushering in some beverages,
Couple lattes.
a couple lattes to enjoy while we're putting this podcast down. So then that trip ended up being quite a
That was an interesting
quite an
one.
adventure. I remember hearing about that secondhand. I was pissed I didn't make that trip.
Yeah, so we had a great trip. Pilcher was with us, John Pilcher, who, it's funny, worked with my wife at Urgent Care in Falmouth here.
He's an ER doctor by trade, but a hell of a fisherman in his own right.
Yep. So we ended up going to the canyons. I think we went to Hydro. It was started off as a great trip. Got a bunch of yellowfins, some longfins. The first night we were there, we were up on the flats and catching, decent-sized yellowfins, albacore, mahi, and then slid into the canyon to try and get a big eye, and ended up having 2 bites, got one. No swordfish overnight. And then next morning, pretty decent troll. We were green sticking as well. Picked a few, and then we were running north and found this massive weed line with logs all over it. And Brett on the hindsight was there as well. And then it was like an aquarium. It was insane. They were all like 15 to 18-pound mahis, nice, gaffer mahis.
Yeah.
And there was wahoo there. There was everything. And we left because we had to get back, and it was one of the gnarliest thunder and lightning storms. It was up there in the top 3.
Yeah, I heard about this when we got back. Chris was saying he wasn't sure they were going to make it back.
Yeah, I think Pilcher and Chris and I were down below. I wasn't at the helm, so I was like, my deck's clean. My job's
So
done.
long for the ride.
Can just hang out and take the ride home. And I do remember pulling out all the survival suits at one point just to make sure, good mate's got to be on his game.
Well,
so
that was a request from the top down, right?
Yeah. It was like, hey, if we get struck by lightning here, and we were probably 60 miles from the shoals.
Lightning scary offshore.
Yeah, it was.
And then Chris comes up making jokes.
Yep. Yep. He was always lighting in the air.
Yeah.
As he is today.
Yeah, comes up making jokes, and the captain of that boat is doing the old like cut it out across his neck, like looks over at the owner of the boat, and he's white as a ghost, and his Gumby suit's laid out everywhere.
Yeah, that was an interesting trip.
Yeah.
From there, I actually was on contract till September 1st, and September 1st rolled around, and I was luckily. Really good friend of mine who I fish with a lot in the bay. His buddy was looking for a mate to go to George's. And
what was that like?
Knowing now, I would have never gone, dude. It was a 31 BHM. We left the dock. Like, I literally got off the dock in Hyannis, drove straight to Parker River to Skippy's Pier 1, hopped on a 31 BHM, not knowing he's probably one of the fishiest dudes to ever tuna fish.
Yeah.
And we went to George's with a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter and a jar of fluff.
That sounds about right.
And I'm like, where's the rest of the food? I had some provisions myself, but I didn't know we were going 170 miles offshore. And we went all the way out to George's, and within an hour and a half of fishing, we had 3 tied off.
I was back in the three fish day.
It was 3 a day, yep.
Fatties?
And, they're all slammers.
Yeah.
They were.
What? So I mean, you've
600
become
dressers.
a hell of an offshore fisherman. How did that learning curve kind of mold you into that offshore Sharpie that you've become? Like, was it just kind of baptism by fire and picking up things from everybody you've worked with?
At the time, it was right after my parents had got divorced, so I needed a paycheck. I needed to make ends meet, and what I knew was fishing, and I really didn't want to go climb trees. And I knew that back then, I mean, the fish were worth anywhere from, low fish was a crap fish was $8 a pound. Yeah. So we just pounded it out, and I was able to go and learn from one of the best on George's. And it was awesome. From then, I was hooked on bluefin and commercial fishing. And then from there, I went and worked for the Povich family.
Yep.
So I was fishing 46 West Mac, and we were just pretty much strictly commercial fishing the canyons, green sticking.
Is that where you got most of your green stick experience?
I did, yeah. I learned from this guy called Archie Jost.
So to explain the situation of what a green stick is, it's a massive green stick that is it's a mast that comes off the
30-foot fiberglass rod that goes up in the air, and it's connected to a bandit reel.
Yep.
And the bandit reel is a hydraulic reel packed with 600 to 800 pound mono.
Mm-hmm.
And off that reel, so you put out a big poly ball, like a regular dock ball that you'd see on the hanging off the side of a boat. Put that out, and there's a bird. Looks like a regular splash bird.
Yep.
But it's
massive.
Yeah, it's like 3 feet long.
Yeah.
And it's got wings on it. So it creates tension.
Yep.
And so you let the whole entire bird out and the spool all the way to where you have a breakaway. Mm-hmm. So the breakaway consists of 2 long line clips, in our sense, and a piece of 180-pound mono in between. So the 180-pound mono is the breakaway, which sounds crazy, but there's a ton of tension from a 3-foot bird and a poly ball and 600 feet or 600 yards of mono going out. So you essentially set your bandit reel out until you get to a splice that's on the main line and connect your green stick, which has a piece of mono coming down to it with an open end clip.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's 2 long line clips that are connecting the 180-pound mono, and when you get a fish on, it creates enough tension to break the 180-pound, and then you have them on the bandit.
Yep. And what you're using for baits is you usually have like 3 or 4 or however many you're running, like artificial squids that kind of are out of the water almost more than they're in the water.
Yeah, so that's the idea. You want to keep them out of the water as much as you can, and then you essentially grab the main line from the bandit and you pull down to dip. It originated in Japan, and then the Hawaiians kind of modified it a little bit.
Okay.
And then it's become, the guys in North Carolina have it mastered.
Yeah.
But we were green stick fishing, and then we had a basic 6-rod spread, and we were just strictly commercial fishing. It was nice having someone that could foot the bill to do it.
Yeah.
And we were on probably one of the nicest boats around. But yeah, we did really well.
Yeah.
But we were also, I was 20 at the time, and the other mate, one of my best friend, Anders, who I met through fishing with Matt. The two of us worked the deck with a couple other guys, and we were willing to go wherever we had to go.
Yeah.
And Archie, who was our mentor, went with us. He was 60 or 70. God, don't kill me, Archie. Probably 76 at the time, 75. I think he was. But he had also fished with Linda Greenlaw.
Oh, really?
He was on that show, Swords, Life on the Line.
Oh, yeah.
And had his own green stick
I like
boat.
that show, by the way.
It's awesome.
It was fun.
show.
It was fun to see
Scotty
all the stuff.
Rabinovich is the man.
Scotty Rabinovich. He fished some of those shark tournaments that we fished.
Yeah, on the big or the fisheye or one of those boats.
Yep. There was a golden eye from down south. The guy was nuts.
Yep. Yeah,
That was good stuff.
We were willing to go from Hyannis all the way to the Lindencoal or the Wilmington if we had to.
Really? Is that the furthest you went south?
I think the Washington was the
Wow.
furthest we went. Yeah, which was a poke. We would leave Hyannis, and mind you, we were 10 knotting it. So we would leave,
How long would it take you to be fishing?
a day probably.
Oh, so would you go out and then run down and fish down the canyons to the Washington?
So this one trip in particular we did, the first long trip that I did, they did other trips without me. The one trip that I did that was to the Lindencoal Canyon, we went from Hyannis to Shinnecock Inlet,
Jersey.
in Long Island.
Oh, yeah. That's. I forgot my.
Yep, on the
states
south
mixed
side
up.
of Long Island. Went in there. Dougie, who at the time who owned the marina there, we went in, had a burger, refueled, topped off, and then 10 knotted it to the Hudson. And the Hudson it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So we got a call from Dean on the Canyon Runner and was like, I just piled them up. So away we went. Or maybe it was Ronnie and the Jamie's Toy.
Yeah.
And this is a huge part of it, too, is having a network of guys
Super important.
that are commercial fishermen that are willing to share their information.
Yep.
And knowing that we were willing to run another 100 miles south of Hudson to go.
You had to
find
have the
these
network
fish.
and
The balls. To do it.
exactly.
So we ran all the way down Lindencoal, and that night, I think the night we got there, we were throwing back 80-pound yellowfins
That's awesome.
because we were just like, there's big eyes here, and we want the big eyes. We got, I think, 3 or 4 big eyes. Already were stuffed full of yellowfins, and it was to the point where we were only fishing the stick.
Mm-hmm.
We had no rods in the water. Any rods that we did have were acting as green stick baits,
Okay.
dangling in the riggers.
Yep.
That night, get a call, Hudson's going off. So I'll never forget this. We left the Lindencoal at last light and steamed north, and by steaming, 10 knotting it.
Yep.
And Archie had cooked a turkey dinner on the boat. Like, we ate well on this
Yep.
boat. So I'm on helm watch.
What did he have to cook a turkey dinner on the boat?
We had a
Was it-
full oven.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh, yeah. We had an
Yeah.
oven, cooktop.
Yeah, West Max are built like that.
Yeah, this thing had a full galley, so we chugged it north, and I remember Archie going, "We're having a family dinner." He's from Montauk, grew
Okay.
up, living. So I don't know if my impersonation is very good, but he's like, "Cam, get out here. We're having a family dinner." So we sat on the back of the coolers and ate a turkey dinner,
That's phenomenal.
and transited all the way up back to the Hudson. Next morning we got there, and it was like Jurassic Park.
Really.
The amount of pilot whales that were there and the amount of fish that were there was just insane.
Loaded with big eyes?
Yeah, we went up to I think it was like 250 on the breakaway. Because
Nice.
what was happening is the big eyes were like 200 pounds a piece.
Yeah.
So you get 1 or 2 on the stick
Yeah.
with 6 drops. And
You're going 2 for 6
You're
instead
going-
of 6 for 6.
yeah.
Because
So,
if it breaks away, you're not really fishing still.
yeah, yes and no. Yes
Okay.
and no. Because what happens is a lot of times the breakaway will pop and the baits will sink down real quick.
Mm-hmm.
and you'll get more bites.
Okay.
But they were eating them in the air.
Yeah.
So it was like,
You want to keep
Beef it
them,
up.
keep them fishing,
but
in
we'll
the air
talk
as
about
much
a
as
violent
possible.
sound of 250 going off on the breaker.
That's got to be nuts.
So we ended up plugged the boat, and then after that, I was like, game on. Let's
So
keep going.
one of your best trips, best singular trips?
No, the best trip I ever had was so it was myself. Archie took a pulley to the head.
Those things swing around pretty viciously.
Yeah, so
that's
it's
when
like
the breakaway breaks away. The pulley snaps back right to the back of the boat.
It does, yeah. So it's about a 6-inch to 8-inch pulley that's on the end of pretty much a ski, like a regular downhill ski pole.
Yeah.
Or not a ski pole, but a ski. And that's your rod.
Mm-hmm.
He took the pulley to the back of the head, and it messed him up a little bit. So we had the guy who I actually originally went to George's with hopped on with us, and we went to the Hudson. And it was, if any of you guys are listening that were in the Hudson for the Montauk Challenge, I'm very sorry, but we were commercial and you weren't. So there was a savage chunk bite going on, and we were catching them on the stick, and we didn't stop fishing the stick all night long. So picture 50 boats in a fleet chunking, and
You were public enemy number one.
here comes the taxi through. And yeah, so we ended up green sticking right through a fleet of about 50 boats that were all chunking, and we crushed them. Absolutely smoked them. We loaded 19 big eyes in one night.
That's
That were all
insane.
corkers. They were like, 150 to 220
Damn.
big eyes, and yeah, we
Still
smoked
got
them.
to check that box. I haven't done a big eye.
It was cool. We didn't make any friends. I know that.
No, it is what it is, man.
but yeah, I mean,
You know, it's not like you haven't done the.
Like they
you've
say,
been
there's
on
no-
the other side of it plenty. Too.
there's no friends on a powder day. There's no friends in the Fisher Bite. And I'm sorry, but I'm
I
coming
love it.
through. And we actually hung swordfish lights on all the drops
Really.
so that people could see the
For
the
safety
disco
purposes,
balls
yeah.
coming through.
Yeah,
But yeah, we cleaned them up pretty good there.
that's awesome.
But yeah.
Family owned and operated for over 65 years, AFCO represents unparalleled quality, performance, and reliability when it counts most. From inventing the roller guide to introducing the world's first pair of true fishing shorts, which are some of the most comfortable shorts you'll ever own, by the way. AFCO not only delivers products proven to perform on the water, but are true leaders of conservation as well. Their pledge to protect and conserve has 10% of your AFCO purchases going directly to supporting conservation initiatives. Beyond their fishing shorts, a couple of my personal favorites are the Barricade Elite bibs and jacket, as well as their line of Reaper sweatshirts, pullovers, and jackets. Check them out at afco.com. AFCO, any fish, any water. That's awesome. The thing that I learned from you, because the only time I've ever fished on a boat with a green stick was with you, the thing that I thought was super cool is how that whole operation will pull bites to the rods when you're trolling.
Sometimes, yeah.
I mean, it did that time.
It did,
Every time a bite would fire off, the green stick would actually start going off after we got bites in the rods, and you were like, the stick's pulling them up to the to
So
the
I'm
rods, and then
convinced,
they're
like,
sliding back.
I'm convinced that the boat raises the fish, and they're interested. Fish are, like the videos you see this year are the draggers.
Sure.
They don't have a rod in the water.
No, they know
They're
there's food there. It's the
they're
dinner
just-
bell goes
and those
off.
fish, before they're even hauling back, they're just following them.
Yeah. I mean, you see them following up like lobster gear and stuff when people are hauling back.
They know it's free food.
Yeah, exactly.
So the rods, when you're fishing a green stick, you're very limited to how far back you can fish your rods. Mm-hmm. So on a conventional sport boat, most of your bites are long riggers off the bat.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the fish come up, they're interested, and you'll get a long rigger bite. But with the green stick, a lot of times, and it depends on what's going on too, clarity of the water, what the bait is. But most of the time, you'll get a bite on a flat line or a rigger bite, and then you'll jump back and start jerking the stick, and then boom, there goes a breaker. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot fishing commercially, and I learned a lot about gear and how much pressure you can put on a fish. A lot of people fish shy and think that you need to
Got to
lighten
muscle
it up because you're gonna, to get the bite.
Yeah.
But there was times that we were pulling the stick down real low, and 600-pound test is dangling in the water in front of the bait, and they're still getting crushed. So,
if we haven't covered it, what's the craziest thing that you've seen offshore?
Craziest thing I've seen offshore, lightning shows probably.
Yeah, it sounds like that trip back with
we were
Christmas
down.
nuts.
We were down. There was a tsunami buoy that used to be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there anymore. And it was probably one of the sketchiest things. What I shouldn't say the craziest thing, but it was probably like one of the times I was like, "Whoa!" Like, yeah,
shook a little bit.
I mean, we've taken green water, like pretty much rolled a boat before coming
Yeah.
back from George's, having being stuck at George's, where there was a weather system in between the Cape and George's that was coming up through the the cold water between,
Walled up.
and we had no option but to just point the boat into the sea and just sit there on the line all night. And we couldn't come back. I mean, TJ on the hot tuna turned around on his way out because it was so rough. And there was only 3 boats there. We were in a 35-footer. Gordy was in his 31, and there was another boat there out of Yarmouth. And we just kind of like packed up and just rode it out.
I want to fish with that dude. He seems like a savage.
Gordy's a savage.
So I got a call from you.
If you want to go fluke fishing, go with Gordy.
Yeah. That's kind of what blew my mind.
He's been doing that longer than,
Yeah.
I know you guys did a show.
No, sure. He's an OG on the fluke
doing
grounds.
the fluke grounds for a long time, and he's good at it.
So you had reached out to me. We had, we stay in touch, and I'm like, dude, we're way overdue to fish together. And you're like, oh man, I'm running a sweet 50-foot Enriquez right now. He's like, come with me.
So I was the mate on that boat. It's owner operated.
Yep.
A couple years ago, a friend of mine called me and was like, hey, there's an opportunity to go to the Keys for 6 months in the winter and fish up here. And this is before I was married.
Sure. That changes things.
I've been dating my wife for 5 years at the time.
Yep.
But it was a good opportunity. I didn't really have any expenses, and the experience was worth the weight in gold. So I took a job working on a 50-foot Henriquez.
Fun fishing, basically, right?
Yeah, it was all
serious fun fishing.
It was serious, but it was
recreational sport.
The owner
fishing.
of that boat is a savage. Like,
Yeah.
he just wants to kill stuff.
Yeah.
And so I took the job, went down to the Keys, and we sword fished.
Yeah.
The second day I was there was my birthday, and he's like, "You don't want to work tomorrow, do you?" And I'm like, "No, I mean, I don't care. Work is fishing for me, so
Sure.
yeah, I want to work." He's like, "Well, why don't we go and fish with a guy named Nick Stanzik?" So we drove up to I was in Summerlin Key. We drove up to Alamorada and ended up hanging a 474 swordfish that day on my birthday. And,
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, it was cool. Did 2 drops and hooked one on the first drop, pulled it off. Second drop, we barely had the buoy rod out and the tip rod slacked off.
So up until that point, how much deep dropping did you personally do?
None. Well, I had done a couple. I shouldn't say none. We had done a little bit. Not much though, and it was. I shouldn't say we were doing it wrong. It's different the way you do it up here than it is Florida. But we just weren't successful doing it. And my best friend Anders was much more and he was fishing with us, but he was very successful at it. As was Tommy Howd.
Yeah.
Tommy's very, very, very successful at it, and he's probably one of the pioneers up here of it. But I didn't know my ass from my elbow when I went down there.
Yeah.
And it was really
That must have
cool.
been a learning experience.
Yeah,
The Stans
it
is
was.
dialed with that stuff.
So I ate that up.
Yeah, it's
I ate
awesome.
everything that I watched, every single thing.
How many
he did.
questions did you ask him?
None.
Really? Just
No.
soaked, just watch.
Well, I asked him pretty
Why?
stupid questions.
Why a
like,
couple times?
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
But I just watched. They have it so dialed in down there, and it's different. So he's fishing on a center console, and he has the opportunity on a center console to fish a rod off the side.
Yeah.
The boat I was on was a express boat, so
Sure.
we had to fish everything out of the cockpit. So the way that you would set out and make your turn was different. There was a lot of different nuances, but essentially it was the same. And so, yeah, we fished just about every day we could down there. Every weather day that was permittable. I lived on the property, and
It's
it
awesome.
was the best. It was, if I could go back and do it again, I would in a heartbeat.
So quick run through like how you deploy a buoy rod and a tip rod on from the transom of like a sport fish.
So I'm no expert at it by
Yep.
any means. Like
I've seen
totally
you do
new to it.
It works. It doesn't get tangled.
It works, yeah. So essentially, you have an LP spool loaded with braid, 100-foot leader. Let out the line, clip on your lights are already on the main line on the leader.
What size braid do you like to run on the LPs? And that's an electric, reel.
So it depends on the weight you're fishing.
Yeah.
And the current. Like up here, you can get away with 80.
Yep.
Down there, we were fishing 65.
Okay.
The only reason is there's a lot more line out and you're a lot more current. So the less diameter you have, the less drag it is.
We tend to have very little up here,
We have
right?
very little.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost have to move the boat to make the bait work.
Yep.
Down there, you're drifting backwards as you're moving the boat forwards. It's very confusing. Like if you stare at a GPS and you don't know what you're looking at, you're going to get confused.
Yeah.
Because you think that you're going one way and you're going the other. Essentially, you're bumping the boat forward, but the current is so strong that you're actually drifting backwards. Wow. So down there, we were, letting out our buoy rod first, which consisted of the same exact setup as your tip rod. It just had splices in it. So our splices were swivels. Mm-hmm. We had one at 1,000 feet, one at 1,200, and one at 1,400. So we're fishing anywhere from 15 to 1,800 feet of water. And depending on, the current and how fast we were going to move, and pretty much just my discretion, I just clip it on where I wanted.
Yeah.
We would clip on your weights at 100 feet or 150 feet down there for the leader, and then let out the rest of the line. Let it out pretty slowly. I fished with a guy down there who's super dialed in. He fished with Nick a lot. His name's Dave Heater. He has the Miss Peggy Sue, is the name of the boat. He's probably caught the world record a couple times over, bigger than Nick's, and just is such a savage. He doesn't weigh him. He caught one this year that looked like it was got to be 600 pounds.
Wow.
But he also fishes full baits. So full bonita, full mackerels, Spanish mackerels, and full mullet.
Wow.
He doesn't fish any strip baits, nothing. He's looking for the big ones.
The garbage disposal?
Yeah, and he catches a lot of them. But you just essentially set it out the same way. You run your line out, clip your buoy on. But at the time that you were clipping your weight on and starting to let your buoy rod out, you'd start feathering out your tip rod. Because you don't want to get too scoped out.
Yep.
When you get too scoped out, you don't see the bite.
How far away do you like that buoy to be from the transom of the boat?
You can have it a long ways away. Did a trip up here a couple years ago with Ron Crisp on the Humdinger. It was an awesome trip. We ended up catching 4, I think. Had 5 or 6 bites.
Yeah. But
the buoy was a long ways away, and he was in it. There was an 82 Viking, and he's up on the bridge with binoculars looking for the buoy.
Yeah.
But it all depends. It all depends. Nick Stanzik will bring his buoy rod in if he thinks that he mind you, that guy created it. His family originated sword fishing in the United States. So sometimes he'll bring the buoy rod in and fish 2 tip rods.
Really?
If he knows the current's right and the time,
it's all by feel.
I'm getting tangled.
Yeah, sure.
Not a chance.
So if you're up in the Northeast and you're looking to deploy, I mean, first bit of advice would be fish 1 rod until you get that dialed in, right?
So a couple years ago, I fish on a 42-foot hydrosport that I fish on a lot. We fish 1 rod.
Yep.
That was it. That's all we had. That's all. And I wasn't going to put a 50 wide down.
Sure.
I mean, maybe you want to hand crank
that
much?
I want to catch it at night.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But we fished 1 rod and it produced. We got bites. But it's more so just making sure that you're not tangled. And if you can hit bottom and you know that you hit bottom and reel it up a little bit,
you're in the game.
You're there. You're there. And it doesn't matter if you're, a couple of years ago I did a trip with my buddy Anders and we only had a splice at 1,000 feet. And we were like, shit. And the 2 of us were looking at each other like, fuck. I hope the boss doesn't know about this. But we put it out. hung a 300 pounder on the buoy rod
Really?
at 1,000 feet.
In what depth?
I don't know how
1,500?
deep we were. I was in the cockpit, but
Yeah, yeah.
we were probably somewhere in that zone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we were fishing the tip rod religiously, and all of a sudden we had a Trump flag on the top of the buoy that we had out, and the owner of the boat was up on the bridge, and he looks down and he goes, "Donald's laying down," and we just, all right, reel the
Game
tip
on.
rod, and here we go.
That's
and a lot of
awesome.
times, what you'll see if you're sword fishing, the rod will just slack out.
Yeah.
And you think that you lost everything, and that's not the case. The fish has
Swimming up.
eaten it, and he's bringing that weight up.
Yeah.
So there's no weight on it.
Yeah. And that's why the buoy lays down.
Honestly,
same thing.
those are the best bites.
Yeah.
Because you know you got them.
You know you got.
There's no messing around with
Sure.
the LP. Like, oh, do I have them? Do I have them hooked? Like,
That's
no,
what
you got
that's
'em.
what can be.
Because you have a 10-pound weight on there. Like,
Yeah.
a 10-pound weight's enough to set a hook.
Yeah. True. It's a good point. That's kind of like been my experience fishing at night. It's always been like, oh, what do I do now? Like I remember we were fishing, so we went on that. You called me up. I show up, and it was funny because I'm like, oh, I met the owner. He's got a super nice house in the corner of what is it?
It's in the Parker River.
Bass River area. So he hands me a bag, and I see the name on the bag, and I'm like, "You work for this company?" He's like, "I am that company." And I'm like, "Holy shit! I used to rent you construction equipment back when I worked for United Rentals."
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
owns a big construction
So
company in
I'm
Boston.
like, make that connection, and then we start talking about mutual, people that we know and stuff. It was pretty cool. So jump right in on that program, and you're like, me and you were sitting in the back, getting kind of, you're getting stuff rigged up. I'm watching you, so I can pick up on some stuff, and I just remember going out there being so excited, and then right at the point where I'm like flying my highest, we just go over something.
Oh, dude.
And I just feel the vibration, and I'm like, oh, you go, what the hell was that? And,
Yeah, so we're
they're all
steaming
freaking out.
and we were just behind the backside of the shoals, like in between where the old banana buoy was, and essentially the back of Nantucket Shoals and the shipping lanes. It's known for a lot of basking sharks, and we're steaming along, shooting the shit, and all of a
It's nice on the
sudden,
water.
port side, we could feel like it felt like we hit a log, and port motor goes out, and I'm like, oh.
Uh-oh. I thought the trip was over before it started,
Oh,
and
shit.
everybody was thinking the same way, and then you kind of were like, wait a minute, throw that in reverse.
Yeah, I was like, well, if you hit a big pile of rope, a lot of times, like, it's always worth a shot. Throw it in reverse real quick, see if you can unwind it. And at that point, we looked back, and there was a pretty decent-sized pool of blood in the water, and I was like, all right, well, put her back on plane cap and see what
if
she
it's
does.
vibrating. It was
Yeah, she
smooth.
just- and I mean, 2 C-18 Caterpillars, 1,000 horse apiece, and got back on the
Off we
plane,
went.
and off we went. But
We rolled out there. That was
I think we broke the stick. Or no, we didn't.
we went to Hydro,
Yeah.
dude. We get out there, and he's got one of his buddies that's like super old timer.
The Sea Shepherd.
The Sea Shepherd, we call him. And like this guy looks like Tarzan.
Anyone listening, and you ever seen the boat, the Mako 2? It's this guy, Mike DeFlippio. He is a riot.
So like,
Nicest human being you ever met in your life, but just a character.
oh man, dude, we're like absolutely covered up. We were running the stick. We got piled up with like nice yellowfin.
Yeah,
and
they were like those big, like almost Allison class
Yeah.
yellowfins.
it was awesome.
I remember that. Yeah, I was.
I almost lost my finger.
You did. Yeah, you put a pretty good incision in your finger.
That
We had one on the rod on the starboard side or the port side, and you and Mike were over there. And I'm like, she just got it, whatever. And so I'm on the stick, and we were running an LP for the Bandit reel.
yeah.
And I hear this commotion over on the side, and I look over, and there's Cheech, and he's got the green machine bar like wrapped in his hand, and the Sea Shepherd. The only reason I call him a Sea Shepherd because he's got long ponytail, white hair, and his shirt's always unbuttoned. He looks like a shepherd. So he's sitting there with the gaff, sitting on the deck like a shepherd, and Cheech is like, gaff the thing. And I look over and I see him gaff the fish, and he gaffed it like midsection.
Right in the
Had
back.
no control of the fish. Fish takes off, gaff flies out of his hand. Now Cheech has got his like a triple wrap with his wedding ring on, and just Bologna skin.
Dude, I honestly thought I was going to see a chicken bone after that.
me
Like,
too.
I
was
grabbed the line because I
no.
saw it happen, and I'm like, uh-oh. And I grabbed the line because I went to dump it. When I went to dump it, the line to the tip, and everybody had a fish on except the Sea Shepherd. He just had a gaff in his hand. I go, hey,
Mind you, there was only 4 of us in the boat.
yeah. I go, and
So
there was
Sandy's
probably
driving.
a dozen fish on.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm like, hey, can you gaff this? I'm gonna bring this right to you. You got this? He's like, yep, I got it, no problem. So I leader the fish. I bring it to him, and he puts the gaff in the back of the fish and immediately just lets go of the gaff, and the thing just takes
Let's
off.
preface this too. We were fishing all 80s and 130s too. So like, I fish heavy drag. So these fish were green.
So I see that happen, and I went to dump it. So when I had the pressure, I had the slack off the rod tip to leadering this fish, it twisted around and made a loop because, slack line that was just really tight tends to do that. That loop just jumped right around my 2 fingers, I think, and it came tight. And that's when I cinched down and grabbed it, and I was just like, oh man, please break, or I wasn't stopping that fish.
200-pound
It
mom was not
broke,
gonna
thank
break it.
God,
Yeah.
dude.
It broke on the bar, yeah. Right at the connection. Thank
But
God.
we put a bunch of fatties in the boat, and we ended up having another, time when we were covered up. We were kind of good with tuna fish, but I really wanted to sword that trip.
Yeah, so there was a lot of boats dropping that trip.
Gordy was out hammering.
Smoked them. Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, isn't he a fluke guy? You're like, I rigged up he's like, I got an LP. You show me what to do with this thing,
so
right?
Anders walked him through the whole thing, and Gordy, being a fishy bastard that he is, he just figures it essentially sword fishing is fluke fishing in 1,500 feet of water.
Okay.
And he was dedicated to it. Like, he just went out there, and all he wanted to do was catch
Wasn't his
swordfish.
first trip ever?
Yeah.
It was his first
One
or
of
his
them,
second,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
he was just
Smoked him.
Cam,
Yeah.
fall in line, come over here.
Yeah.
And guy running our boat, he's like, nah, man, we want to fish. We want to.
We had a spot on the other side too, which was good.
We're gonna stay in our own zone. And I'm like, I wanted to see a swordfish so bad. Cam, I'm on again. I'm like, oh, he's crushing it. Can we just go drift down with him? He's invited us 4 times now.
Yeah.
But we were certain we were gonna get that bite. And when we flipped to the overnight program, I remember just laying on that little backrest in front of the salon. You were up in the captain's chair with your feet up, and I just remember hearing tick, 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 and I look, and the drag is just kind of clicking off, and then I saw this like knocker that it was like a bird flew into the rod at night. You couldn't see the bird maybe, but the rod just jostled left to right. And
Yeah, he had a bite, and that's the way it is.
I go, Cam, something's happening. And I didn't want to touch the rod because I was scared I was going to screw it up. So he comes running out. He's like, no, don't touch it. Let it come tight. And I'm pretty convinced the fish beat the brakes off that squid because it was like 10 feet up above where, it was all sewn on. Another one of those situations where had the right fish messing with your stuff, just didn't come tight on it.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
That was fun, though. I mean, we caught a ton of fish that trip. Everglades Boats is an industry leader in premium offshore fishing boats, respected for its renowned and unsinkable ramp cap hull design. Everglades builds center console and hybrid boats from 24 to 45 feet that make a statement about the status and savvy of their owner. Every Everglades model originates from a single purpose: to fish better than anything on the water. When the weather kicks up, no problem, as you'll quickly learn why Everglades has such an amazing reputation for being an awesome rough riding boat. Find your local dealer at evergladesboats.com. Everglades Boats, built for beyond. All right, so we're going to get into some lightning round stuff. You need to put a giant in the boat. What are you doing? How are you going to fish for them? Like, what's your spread setup like? What's your approach?
Bluefish.
Live bluefish?
Live bluefish. Yeah. 100%.
How many rods?
2. 2 or 3 max.
Yep.
1 on a kite
Okay.
and 2 floaters.
Yeah, both floaters, nothing down, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
If I mean, you're talking giant.
Yeah.
You want a big one?
Yeah. That's
yeah.
what you're going with?
Yeah, bluefish.
Cool.
100%.
Kite's obviously going to be off the boat. The 2 floaters, you'll just space out.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, bluefish are a pain in the ass. They'll swim around your boat all day.
Yeah. I like to swim in circles.
Not as bad as pogies, but
Yeah. Pogies can be a pain in
I
the
mean,
ass.
that's the thing too. People hate pogies, and I like bluefish.
Yeah. You bridle?
Nope.
No, right through the nose.
7.698 or whatever.
Oh, through the back,
7.692,
actually?
the biggest hook I can put on it. Yeah, right through the back.
Yeah.
Just simple.
Yep.
I don't believe in lead or shy, all that stuff. I don't fish on the bank a lot.
You okay?
Really good friend of mine that I talk to daily. He taught me a lot about the bay.
Yeah.
And he was the one that put me in contact with Gordy to go to George's. If I'm fishing the bay or fishing the backside beach, obviously Chatham, mackerel are pretty
right off
important.
the bottom.
But I'd still rather a bluefish.
Yeah. They
Big,
just get the bigger bites.
big silver hook with no chafe gear, nothing. Just, I don't know.
What's the biggest bluefin you ever tangled with?
Lost one on George's. We saw it a couple times. It was well over 1,000, I can say.
Yeah.
Had one gilled and gutted was 901. We caught that on a 50 wide. Would have been the IGFA world record if we didn't harpoon it. That was a story in itself.
Let's hear it.
So we were in the canyons.
Early season?
No, it was probably like September, I think.
Really?
Yeah, we're on a 42 Viking. The weather was kind of turning a little bit, so we decided to slow chug it up to the sword.
Mm-hmm.
There was some troll bites going on. This was probably 2014, 15. And we lost the crimpers overboard somewhere along the line. Don't know how it happened. Somewhere we lost the crimpers.
Channeled your inner sea shepherd.
It's on a different boat, but I tied an offshore loop knot, which is my go-to. I don't do a bimini twist. I don't do anything. I do a triple overhand knot. All my canyon stuff is a triple overhand knot, pull tight to a loop, and a snap spool to that.
That's become my favorite.
Simple as it sounds, and as weird as it sounds. I mean, there's probably guys cringing listening to this, but it works.
Yeah. It's a good knot. I fish it from everything from freshwater on up.
Yeah, a triple overhand knot with a loop and a snap spool to it. And there was a Joe shoot on there, and we're trolling through some whales. We're just kind of like in a daze from being in the canyons.
So you weren't in the canyons. You had moved inshore.
We were just a little west and.
Yeah, that's why I had asked if it was
maybe a little west
season.
and north of the sword.
Sure.
And we're trolling along, and a couple whales came up in the back of the boat, and it was pea soup fog.
Yeah.
Pea soup. I don't think we marked a fish all day. And a couple boats were like, all right, we're out of here. A good friend of mine was like, yeah, I've seen enough. I'm out of here. Literally, as he says that on the radio, we were only fishing 2 rods. So when I troll ballyhoos, I like to fish 2 rods. I don't even use the riggers. Even if I have riggers, I don't fish them.
Fish them right in the wash.
No, I fish them way the hell back.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Fish them way back, but I put rubber bands to the bottom of the bottom of the reel. And,
Yep.
It's kind of a bite indicator. Instead of hearing a dong from a rigger going off, you can hear the rubber band snap.
Yep.
And we're just listening to music, hanging out, trolling along, and look back, and there's a couple whales. I'm like, oh no, please don't hook that whale. And the whale kind of fluttered off, and then all of a sudden, pew, we're on. And it was just like a steady pull, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And we were just about to snip it off because we thought we had hooked the whale. And my buddy Kenny Sapler, fished on wicked tuna. He was down below sleeping, and I opened up the hatch, and I'm like, hey, Kenny, you want to fight a whale? And as I said that, the rod just like slapped the gunnel 3 times, big head shakes, and just started dumping. So we threw the thing in reverse, and those 42 Vikings with pods can screw in reverse. I'll tell you that. It was flat calm, foggy, but we just started dumping in reverse, and 15 minutes later, up comes this. All I could see was yellow. It was the finlets on the top of the tail.
Wow.
It was blackback swimming. So I stood on the transom and threw the harpoon and
Buttoned it up.
buttoned her up. But
That's awesome.
yeah, it was 901 with the
Damn.
gills and guts out.
That
was a big one.
That's a
But we
Absolute
caught a couple
pig.
like 700 and mid 700 dressers,
Yep.
head off and tail off. But if I was to go out anywhere and try and catch a giant, it would be with a bluefish.
cool. You're day dropping in the Northeast Canyons. What's your bait of choice?
Any eel.
Rig deal?
Yeah. Just because it's so versatile.
Yeah.
Squids will bite at them.
Yeah.
Sometimes, on the bottom, the squids are bad. And I mean, when you're fishing in the canyons a lot, and a lot of times I'm the only mate or the only person doing a lot of things and rigging, you can catch multiple fish on an eel.
Yeah.
When we were commercial tuna fishing for yellowfins and whatnot, we would fish eels on the flatlines. The only reason being is because you could catch 5-6 yellowfins on an eel and just keep throwing it back in the water, and they'd eat them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You have to. You're looking for a big eye bite. What's your spread look like? How fast you trolling? Run me through that.
How fast? It all depends on what it looks like. The current changes, the wind, the direction. As long as your spread looks good and your plugs are popping right and whatever. I did a lot of marlin fishing this past year, which was awesome.
Yeah.
It was honestly, I'd rather catch marlins than tunas now.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. I want to hear the Cam Crocker chosen big eye spread.
Yeah, so the spread I'd fish is 2 bars, 2 bars in the shorts, 2 Joe shoots in the longs, maybe a naked in the long, right in the wash, big bar, and then 2 flat lines.
Yep.
That's it. Simple. 7 rods.
And how far before sunup or after sundown will you troll when you're looking for big eye? Do you have any kind of sweet spot where it's like,
obviously like first light and last light is like the known big eye time, but like a couple years ago in the Oak Bluffs tournament, we caught 8 big eyes, and I think 6 of them were during the day.
Really?
No, we caught 7, and 6 of them were during the day.
No shit.
And the big one was at like 3:30 in the morning.
Okay. So
Complete
it doesn't
pitch
matter.
black. Pitch black.
Yeah.
We were resetting.
Wow.
We were doing a drift, and we put 1 spreader bar out. The biggest thing to take from this is keep lines in the water.
Yeah.
If you're sword fishing and you're moving back up the drift, put something out, because
That's a pro tip right there.
you're gonna get bit.
Yeah.
Like if there's fish there and you're resetting for a reason, like I saw something good there,
Sure.
and I want to reset, put a couple rods out.
You never know. Love it.
Yeah, we were running back up the drift, and it was like kind of in between, should we just start trolling or should we do one more drift and try and catch a swordfish? Because those fish are worth a lot of money in that, or worth a lot of points and money in that tournament.
Sure.
So we were kind of putting back up, and everyone's asleep in the beanbags. We're in the center console, and I had turned the clicker off on the reel, and it was right on the back of the console. There's a rocket launcher right there, and I hear this like the ting 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 ting, and it was the Jerry Brown ripping off the reel, and I had put 1 spreader bar out right in the wash.
That's awesome.
And it ended up being a 288 big eye.
Oh,
Yeah, we
tank.
battled for 2.5 hours. Ralph, our buddy Ralph Alfieri, he's
Yeah.
a moose on the rod, and he did his dance with it, and yeah.
That's awesome. So talk to me about this love affair you have with our. How did Marlon kind of steal your heart a little bit? Because I've always known you as a tuna junkie.
Yeah, so I've caught a ton of tunas.
Sure.
They're fun.
Something new, the new
Bill fishing's like
flavor of the month type of deal.
Yeah, but like I don't know if I'd ever go back.
Yeah,
Watching a teaser bite is
it's pretty awesome.
it's so cool. So I did a trip this last year. The first trip I did with them on the Rainmaker.
Yep. That boat crushed it this year.
Cleaned the board.
Crushed it.
They caught like 16 marlin during the tri-state, which was more than any other boat in the tri-state, and they weren't in the tournament, but they mopped them.
Yeah.
And their captain is phenomenal.
Crazy.
Their mate's great. Really good friends. Talk to them all the time. We got out there and start putting out the longs. Put 2 baits out on the longs, and I'm like, all right, what do you got for the shorts? And they're like, here you go. And I'm like, so hooking this, and he's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, what are you putting that out for? And he's like, we don't fish any hooks. I'm like, what do you mean you don't fish any hooks? And he's like, oh no, we're teaser fishing. And I mean, stupid me, like these guys fish the DR, they fish all over, but the way that you hook and catch more billfish is by teaser fishing. So essentially you're fishing your regular big lures, and dredges and teasers, but there's no hooks in the water. So you see one come up, and also being attentive to your spread, watching, like all the mates' eyes are back at the time. Everyone on the boat, they're always watching a lure or the spread, and see a little stick come out of the water and start reeling it away from it. Take a big mackerel, circle hook, and pitch it back to it, and watch them eat it. Like it's the coolest bite. And light gear, super light gear.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, and that's super light
fun.
drags too, right? You don't want to put heat on them because you can land them quicker, right?
30-pound drag. Like,
I've heard guys talk about that.
The captain, a lot of the time, you have an angler that needs to know how to pitch, and that's a whole different story for a different time.
Sure.
But the captain will put the boat in a turn or do what he needs to do to tease the fish to the boat, and you're essentially hooking the fish right off the transom. Like I watched this past summer, blue marlins sitting underneath the rigger trying to eat a mackerel on the teaser, and like trying to yank it away from him as a 400-pound blue marlin's trying to eat the teaser, and you're just like, boop, put a bait in front of him, and he just turns and eats it, and you're like, oh my God, that was so much cooler than any big eye bite I've ever seen.
Yeah. That is pretty cool.
Yeah,
so it's up close and personal. There's a finesse element to it.
Yeah, and then we were fortunate enough to get into. I was really lucky to get on board with the city hands, Captain Snick.
Yeah.
And go white marlin fishing behind the vineyard this year, and that was pretty cool.
I want to do that. Sometimes they get stacked up behind Nantucket, like right at the end of the shoals. I've run into it before, and my buddy kind of kept it a secret from me. I might have even mentioned this in the past, but like he had told me when we were on the way out there, and I was getting the bait, so I would have grabbed some eels or something. We had nothing. Like I don't even know if we had a Ron's on the boat. And I was throwing stick baits at them, and they were all lit up. I'm standing on the bow of his Grady White, and they're just whacking the stick baits with their bills. And I'm like, please find a hook, please find a hook. Like, I want to do something like that where you're catching them, kind of sight fishing them, pitching, baits to them or whatever, but able to do it on, like, spin or
so I know like
light stuff.
Guys were getting eaten on mackerels over by Cox's and down that way.
Yep.
And, like, anywhere behind the vineyard, there's white marlins there. You just need the right conditions.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing,
dude. We filmed a TV show out popping yellowfin that just aired this season, and I remember being on that trip on Sandy's boat with you, and we're trolling. We had just basically got all the yellowfin kind of cored out on ice, and we're making a move up to where we got bit, and all of a sudden we see a bunch. I think they were either peanut mahi or small skipjack, and they were just bombing out of the water in a straight line, kind of like how you see mackerel or bait fish like that. But these were kind of game fish. Like you were like, oh, big marlins around or a big eye, like something's eating those. And I remember seeing it happen with mahi and being like on high alert because you would just clued me into like a big predator is harassing these mahi.
A lot of the time that you see those mahis like showering out, that look like half beaks or like they're just showering. It's not because they're chasing bait; it's because they're being chased.
Yeah.
We had a cool bite this year in the big game battle in Nantucket. I was on a big whaler, and getting north of the canyon, up in the pot lines. And there was this big weed line made up, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Mahis are worth 10 points a piece in that tournament.
Pluck some
of
those.
I'm like, all right, let's go pluck some mahis. And we made a turn, and all of a sudden, the shower started. And I'm like, oh boy. And right long goes. And I'm like, dumping. And these guys are like, it's a big eye, it's a big eye. And I'm like, we're in 300 feet of water. Probably not a big eye. Next thing you know, I'm like, spinning the boat around. These guys are all fired up. We're catching a big yellowfin or a big eye, and I'm like, get ready to reel, dude. Like, we got a blue marlin on. Like, how do you know? I'm like, because the line's going up off the bow. I can see the loop in the water.
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
see the line peeling up, and I'm like, dude, we got a blue marlin. And sure as hell, he was in there eating mahis. And he ate a green Joe Shoot on the long.
Yeah.
look like a mahi.
So I mean, I had this like lifelong goal of catching a blue marlin, and I fished in Kona, I fished Costa Rica, I fished Antigua, St. Lucia, and I just blanked everywhere I went for them. I mean, we caught fish on a lot of those trips. Some of them we got skunked, and I end up going to the canyons with Matt Fronius and Richie, and we were on the Bonito Bud. God rest his soul. Bud passed away, but we were on that boat, and we got a full spread out, just starting to kind of, sun's starting to come down a little bit, and the long chute goes off, and it was staying down. We thought we had a big eye. It was, you could feel the weight and stuff. That was kind of what threw me. It stayed down the whole time.
Yeah, they're weird. Sometimes
ended up being a
they'll stay
350, 400, 350 pound, 400 pound blue marlin. Catch it in my backyard after traipsing around the globe looking for one.
Yeah,
so we get the best fishery up here, man. It's wild.
Everyone always asks me like where to go blue marlin fishing in the world.
Yeah,
and it's right in our backyard. We have the best marlin fishery anywhere. Well, let me preface that. You can go to the DR and catch,
numbers.
15, but they're all like 200 pounders.
Yeah.
You want to catch the biggest blue marlin in the world?
They're here.
Go live line some yellowfins in the canyons. I guarantee you catch the biggest one you've ever seen. We've hooked them on the green stick before. So when we were fishing back to the green stick, we were fishing big breakaways. So you catch a rat, little skipjack, will eat a squid bait, and things dangling on the stick.
Yeah, it's not going to break it away.
All
it's
of a sudden,
just
you just see this.
It's your bait now.
Yeah, you just see this blue flash come by, and the breaker pops, and it's like, cut that thing off.
Yeah.
Or like just lock it up.
Yeah.
Because we were meat fishing.
Sure.
We didn't want a blue
you don't
marlin.
want to deal with that.
I've seen some
absolute monsters.
big blue marlins up here, and we've caught some nice ones. Like I know the Trident a couple years ago caught one that was pushing 800.
Damon's hooked some monsters.
Damon catches a lot. Yeah. Yep.
It's right. There's something about the Northeast canyons that tend to.
There's no other place in the world, and I always say this. Everyone asks me, "Where's my favorite place to fish?" And it's here. Yeah. And I feel spoiled because there's no other place in the world that you can go catch a blue marlin, a white marlin, a yellowfin, a wahoo, a skipjack, a longfin, a cod, a squid, a striped bass, a tautog, all in one trip.
Yeah.
A fluke.
Yeah.
You can literally go to the canyons and on your way back, stop and catch fluke, striped bass, bluefish, tautog, cod.
It's crazy.
Everything.
Yeah.
You can catch everything in one trip if you wanted to.
Yeah, it is absolutely bananas. We're super blessed to have such a diverse fishery, and you're spot on. I mean, that time of the year, everything's going off, and it's great.
That's why, sorry to my customers, but I build houses for a living, and summertime, don't ask me to do something because I'm going fishing.
What's next for you on the fishing checklist? What haven't you done that you need to get done?
Catch my daughter a fish.
Yeah. She's only like 2 now, right?
She'll be 2 next Monday. So
go take her trout fishing, dude.
Yeah. Yep. I want to catch her a saltwater fish first.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Dude, skip everything.
Everyone
just go right to
sunfish, everything else. I want to ruin her. I want to ruin her.
Yeah.
Just keep her. But yeah,
that's awesome.
And
you got another on the way.
Yep.
Boy, right?
Yeah, any day. No, we don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
Surprise. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I knew that.
Yeah, we didn't find out on the first one.
Good for you.
Not gonna find out on
we
this
didn't find out on ours, and it's. They were both awesome, but I got my boy the second time through when I was.
My wife's a champ too. She.
What's her gut? Because they all kind of
She doesn't know. She has no clue. Yeah.
No.
Yep. But she's awesome. She lets me go fishing and do whatever I want. I'm pulling a motor. I just pulled the motor out of my boat right now, and she's like, "Oh, whatever. Yeah. Okay, honey."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything left to check off on the Northeast fishing bucket list for you?
A halibut.
Dude, so let's do that together.
Yeah,
and we
so
know
Sandy,
who we're gonna go with.
Yeah.
Sandy has been on a mission.
He got a big one last year.
Yeah.
Huge.
But he also got several bites trying.
Yeah, yep. And we've tried. I mean, we've hooked him at George's, cod fishing, because cod was our predominant bait out there. And I've done quite a bit of cod fishing around here. But a big halibut, I want a big one.
Yeah.
And that's going to be my focus this year.
Let's put a trip together with Sandy, and when it's right, and let's go see if we can.
Well, that's why I put a new motor on my boat too, so I can be able to
or
poke
whatever.
out there. And it's
Just-
that's the one thing. Like,
I want to be on the short
I know
list.
they're there. I know they're there.
I want to be on the short list of
There's-
invitees for that mission because
Yeah.
I'm dying to. I just want to see one. It'd be awesome to
I got
catch
good
one.
cod spots. I got good haddock spots out there, and I know they're there.
I know
It's
a
just-
guy that has a 32 regulator, which we could probably move for something like this, or we could just run it around. But he happens to sign my checks, and he happens to be a fan of Cam. So maybe we can put that bug in his ear and, on the water, and Cam can go see if we can check that halibut box together because we've never gotten one on film. And it's been kind of the holy grail.
I'm not the guy to
I
go
don't
after
care.
and target
You're-
with, but like I know where they are. I don't know how to catch them. My old boss knows how to catch them clearly because he got a slammer last year. A
I saw that picture, and I was immediately trying to
dumped the whole harpoon basket.
Yeah, I was
Like-
immediately trying to get
Yeah.
in on that with him, but I don't care because I know you know where, and
Yeah.
you know how.
Yeah.
So I'd back that horse. I'd jump on Sandy's boat and do it.
And
Doesn't
there's a
matter
lot
to
of
me.
other fisheries out there too that you can get it. Like,
Yeah.
you can go bass fishing. You can go.
You're not gonna have a. You're not gonna
you
have
can make a trip out of it.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Not like it's not like something that you just got to go and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I share that goal. Let's
I want a big
let's make that
halibut.
happen.
Big halibut, and I got to beat the grander mark too.
On
Bluefin.
the
So I
bluefin
caught
side?
one last year with or 2 years ago with Damon.
Yeah.
That we let go.
Yeah. I saw that
And-
fish. That fish looked massive.
Dude, it was a slammer.
Yeah.
I leadered that thing, and I was like leaning into it and looking at him, and he was so round.
Yeah.
Like I've caught in
Well-
fish 100. I think the biggest one I've caught was 118 inches, but this one was just round.
We asked our last guest the same question. Do you think 1496 will ever fall?
1496. Yeah.
Biggest tuna ever caught, rod and reel.
I don't know. So when I first started commercial tuna fishing, you saw some sport boats, and they were the guys that were coming up from Florida every year, and they were the guys that did it for a long time. And I mean, I have nothing to take away from the guys doing it, but I think that the management is wrong. So anyone can go and get a commercial tuna permit.
Sure.
And I think that's hurting the industry bad.
Yeah.
Because I bet you, if you look at the numbers, I mean, this is just me talking, but I bet you 60% of the quota is caught by people that catch one fish a year.
Yeah, I mean, it is a resource that a lot of people, especially with the popularity of the media with it,
Wicked tuna,
all that stuff.
But
But it's accessible to everybody with a boat that can spend
is.
$35 on a permit.
It is.
I get that. Which to each their own in a sense. But
Sure is.
what you're talking about is that it's basically a lot more people going out, pulling a fish out of the resource, coming back in. And
Yep.
granted,
but I think that record will be beat someday.
Yeah.
IGFA,
no, that's a
I
different
don't
story.
know.
Because
that was an IGFA record.
One person on the rod, you can't fight it out of a rod holder.
Yep.
I
the
think
chair is
that's
gone.
safe.
Like, so those guys back in the day used to fight them all with a chair.
Yeah.
Granted, the two biggest ones I've caught were on an 80 wide out of a harness and a 50 wide.
That's another thing that
And like people, everyone's like, oh, I need to get 80s or I need to get 130s.
No.
You don't.
you don't.
You need someone that understands how to drive a boat
And how to fight a fish.
and how to fight a fish.
Yeah.
We've caught more fish, like the big eye that Ralph
Mm-hmm.
caught. That was on a 50 wide.
Ralph's a different type of animal, though.
He is an animal. He is his own animal.
So, that's something that I haven't actually done. I fought tuna fish out of a harness, but I've never fought a giant out of a harness. That would be something I'd
So
like to do
a
too.
couple, I think it was like
Jimmy shares that sentiment.
maybe 7 or 8 years ago, fishery was closed. There was an incredible bite on the southeast corner.
Yep.
And Willie Hatch was up there.
Number one.
Willie is the man.
Yep.
I love the guy to death.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's the man. He had a charter. There was maybe 2 other boats up there. us being one of them.
Yeah.
We were catching them on 30s. Tiger 30s and Tiger 50s. It's all we were fishing. All stand-up gear.
Yeah.
And we were whooping them.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest thing is having confidence in your connections and putting a ton of heat on the fish. If you sit there and you chase a fish around, you're never going to get them.
No,
because you're just swimming them.
Replenish their oxygen. They're not
Dead boat the boat.
Yep.
Let them run.
Let them pull you.
Let them pull you. Don't chase them.
Yep.
Sit the boat there. Put as much heat as you can. And either the fish will break or your gear's going to break.
Amen.
That's it.
I love it.
Simple.
Yeah. That's
with media and everything else. It's a lot of things have gotten so over proportionated, and I don't even know if that's a word.
overcomplicated.
I should say.
Sure.
Just put a ton of heat on them.
Yeah.
Like, just get them up.
Break their will, baby. I
And,
like it.
and honestly, it's healthier for the fish, because if you're a recreational fisherman and you want to catch a big fish, put as much heat on that fish as you can.
Yep.
Because you're either going to break them off or you're going to get them quick, and the fish is going to live.
Yeah.
If you sit there for 5 hours, you're not doing the fish any good. No. You're not doing yourself any good.
Amen.
You're doing nothing good. So if there's one thing anyone can take out of this, is put as much heat on that fish as you can. And, I mean, I'll send you pictures. We put
study up on the best connections and perfect that.
Yeah, just if you use Genkai crimps, get Genkai crimpers.
Yep.
And you don't have to go light. Like, you don't have to fish 130. I fish 180 on everything.
Yeah.
180 and 220. I don't own a LI crimp. Everything I have is SG.
Yep.
And that's it.
I like it.
Everything's from the connection from the main line to an offshore loop to either a wind-on or a crimp. Like, just put as much heat on that fish as you can. Because I've broken rods.
Yep.
I've broken too. We were in the Oak Bluffs tournament one year. Had a nice big eye. Found a squid dragger. Pulled it behind him. Boom. Big eye. It was on a 30 on an old Fenwick. Like, mind you, if you looked at my rods, you'd laugh.
Yeah.
This was an old international 50 lever drag with a Fenwick rod. Get the fish boat side, rod breaks. I'm like, all right, well, the fish is disqualified.
Yeah.
So let's try and catch the fish.
Yeah.
So Ralph, take out like 15 pulls, take a wrap in your left hand and try and hold the fish and give it some leeway if it has to go. We pulled a bunch of line off. I cut the line, spliced it on another rod, and tied a quick Albright. Boom, back to fighting.
Back in game.
Got the fish up to the side of the boat. It was rough. I was in the leader, stumbled back, fish hit the covering board, gone.
That's a tough way to lose.
It was a tough break. Watch the spreader bar just float down, and I'm like,
oh, bye-bye.
But, yeah, I mean, the one thing I can say is just put a ton of heat on the fish, because
you're right.
The days that, like, I've gone recreational fishing with people on 130s, and I will literally back the drag off, crank the handle, the drag knob as far as I can, and you won't break them off.
Yeah.
You won't. Either
Put
you're
the heat
going to
on
cross break or something's going to happen, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to get that fish to the boat.
That's good advice, man. Cam, awesome time talking fishing with you.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, and we're going to have you do a little tutorial on something, and we'll have you on your way.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. So thanks again for joining us, man. We got to fish again soon. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All right, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.